Clapperboard hook used before Chapter 1, to grab attention. At a glittering Christmas dinner filled with powerful executives and polite smiles, one small moment changed everything. A CEO brought her deaf daughter into a world that had never learned to listen, until a quiet single father stood up, and spoke without saying a word. What happened next would leave an entire room speechless, and remind everyone what connection truly means. Chapter 1. The silent world in a noisy room. The grand ballroom shimmered with golden lights, crystal chandeliers, and the soft hum of elite conversations. It was the annual Christmas dinner hosted by one of the most powerful CEOs in the city, a woman known for her sharp decisions, unwavering discipline, and a life built on control. Her name was Eleanor Hayes. But tonight, for the first time, she felt something she rarely allowed herself to feel: uncertainty. Standing at the entrance, Eleanor adjusted her elegant coat, then gently looked down at the small hand wrapped around hers. Her daughter, Lily, gazed up at her with bright, curious eyes. The world around Lily was silent. She had been deaf since birth. Eleanor had spent years protecting her daughter from uncomfortable situations. From curious stares. From awkward silences. From people who didn't know how to communicate with her. But tonight, something was different. "Are you ready?" Eleanor signed softly, her movements careful, practiced, but not natural. Lily nodded with a small smile. They stepped inside. Immediately, the noise of the room, laughter, glasses clinking, conversations overlapping, seemed to grow louder. But for Lily, it remained a distant, unreachable world. People turned. They always did. Some smiled politely, others whispered. A few stared just a second too long. Eleanor felt it all, every glance, every judgment, like needles against her skin. She straightened her posture, slipping into her usual composed self, but inside, she was tense. This was her world, a world of business deals, power, influence. But it wasn't Lily's. As they moved deeper into the room, Lily stayed close, observing everything. Her eyes scanned faces, lips, gestures, trying to make sense of a language that was never designed for her. At one point, a group of executives greeted Eleanor warmly. "Merry Christmas, Eleanor. Lovely event as always. And who is this young lady?" one of them asked, bending slightly. Eleanor hesitated. "This is my daughter, Lily." There was a pause. A brief, uncomfortable silence. "Oh, how sweet," the man said, unsure what to do next. He gave Lily a small wave, unsure if she understood. Lily gave a polite smile, but her eyes drifted away. She was used to this. The half-interactions. The missed connections. The invisible wall. Eleanor felt it like a failure. For all her success, she couldn't build a bridge to her own daughter's world. They moved to their table. Lily sat quietly, watching people laugh, talk, and connect, all without her. Eleanor tried to engage her, signing small comments, but it felt forced. Incomplete. And then, something unexpected happened. From across the room, someone was watching them. Not with curiosity, not with pity, but with understanding. A man in a simple suit, sitting with a young boy beside him. He didn't speak. He simply observed. And when Lily's eyes met his, he smiled. Not the kind of smile people give out of politeness, but the kind that says, "I see you." Lily blinked. For the first time that evening, she leaned forward. Clapperboard hook for Chapter 2, to keep viewers watching. Just when Lily thought this night would be like every other, silent, distant, and lonely, a stranger stood up and changed everything, not with words, but with his hands. And what he revealed would touch not just her heart, but her mother's soul. Chapter 2. When silence finally spoke. The man stood up slowly, guiding his young son with him. Eleanor barely noticed at first. She was busy trying to maintain conversation with her colleagues. But Lily noticed. The man approached their table, calm and unhurried. His son held his hand, looking a little shy but curious. Eleanor turned, slightly guarded. Yes. The man didn't speak. Instead, he looked at Lily. And then, gently, he began to sign. "Hello." Lily froze. Her eyes widened. For a second, she didn't move, as if her mind needed time to catch up with what her eyes were seeing. Then suddenly, her face lit up. A real smile. Bright, unfiltered, alive. She responded instantly, her hands moving faster than Eleanor had ever seen before. Hello. You know sign language? The man nodded, smiling warmly. My son is deaf too, he signed. Eleanor's breath caught. She looked at the boy, who now waved shyly at Lily. For the first time that night, Lily laughed. Not quietly, not politely, but freely, the kind of laughter Eleanor hadn't heard, or seen, in a long time. The room around them faded. The noise, the people, the expectations, none of it mattered, because at that small table, a bridge had finally been built. Eleanor watched as Lily and the man, Daniel, spoke effortlessly. Their hands moved like music, their expressions full of life. No hesitation, no awkwardness, just connection. Something Eleanor realized she had been missing. Not because she didn't love her daughter, but because she had never fully stepped into her world. Daniel turned to Eleanor and signed slowly, making sure she could follow. She's very bright. Eleanor swallowed. I'm still learning, she admitted, her signs hesitant. Daniel nodded gently. That's okay. She just needs you to try. Those simple words hit harder than any business deal she had ever faced. Across the table, Lily was now teaching Daniel's son a playful sign. Both kids were laughing, completely at ease. Eleanor felt her eyes sting. For years, she had built empires, solved complex problems, led thousands of people. But she had overlooked the simplest, most important thing: meeting her daughter where she truly lived. She reached out slowly. Lily, she signed. Lily turned. Eleanor hesitated, then continued. Teach me. Lily's eyes softened. Then she nodded. And in that moment, under the glow of Christmas lights, something shifted. Not just between a mother and daughter, but within Eleanor herself. The dinner continued. But now, people were watching for a different reason. Not out of curiosity, but out of quiet admiration. Because in a room full of powerful voices, the most meaningful conversation was happening in silence. Sparkle's final message ending for YouTube Impact. Sometimes, love isn't about speaking louder, it's about listening differently. The strongest connections aren't built with words, but with effort, understanding, and presence. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is learning how to truly see someone. If you want, I can also create 10 viral image prompts, scene by scene, or YouTube title plus description plus tags for this story.